in the business for everybody, and if you're at the bottom of the pole, so to speak, you got to work your way up. And he talks in grave detail about just the struggles that he and Sting and several other wrestlers that they came up with had in really making it in the business, and how they had to pay their dues, so to speak. His bodybuilding career prior to wrestling, his stint with the WWE, and he really puts to rest a ton of the lies that were brought out in the Self-Destruction of Ultimate Warrior DVD, some of which, you know, in terms of his communications with the WWE prior to actually signing with them, who he got in contact with to actually get into the company, that it really wasn't him, but it was the WWE that actually called him and World Class to actually get that spot. A lot of the money and stuff that he did, he put into his own to actually make the Warrior character as good as it could be and as popular as it would eventually turn out. His meetings with Vince McMahon prior to WrestleMania 6, the entire, you know, build up to WrestleMania 6, and he's also a little, you know, shy about actually talking about how he remembers or don't remember some things, such as Survivor Series of '87. And I think the biggest thing that I took from this DVD is that the Warrior is very, very misunderstood. The guy is extremely intelligent. He can, you know, he's not, I think many people get a little too hooked up on the crazy character that he portrayed and not really understanding that this guy is really, really educated. He's not the best in terms of politics, in my opinion. He's shown his ass many, many times as a right-wing crazy bastard. But he really believes in the family value structure. He lives it. He lives and breathes the Warrior gimmick that made him great. And a lot of the good teachings, or whatever you want to call it, the positive thinking and stuff that the Warrior character generated over the course of several years during his career in the WWE and extended on after that in his real life, personal life with his family. I think the best, I guess you could say, subplot to this was chapter to this, excuse me, was when he was discussing his return to the WWE in 1996. And I'm just going to leave it at that. It's something that I think that everybody who was a Warrior fan or paid to the Warrior should really look at. And, you know, there's bootleg copies and stuff like that all over the place that you can find this. It's one of the most sought after shoot interviews because there was only 1,000 made. I believe that Ringside Collectibles, I believe they said that they were going to do a second version of this, basically a second reprint, but they really never did it. I think this is the only DVD that they've actually released. So it's a really, really good DVD. You know, Ringside Collectibles is mostly known for their action figures, so wrestlers, but go ahead and pick this up. I mean, he talks about that as well, you know, his 1996 run with the WWE, and he also discusses the fallout he had with Vince, as well as the entire making, so to speak, of his run at WCW, which was also pretty interesting. I think we all can kind of agree that it wasn't successful. Warrior goes into detail, his side of the story, and why that wasn't successful. So, you know, the shoot interview of the Ultimate Warrior is a really good DVD. If you have the original copy, good for you. Don't give it up, because over time it's going to be worth something, because I have a really good feeling Warrior is never going to do another shoot interview. Everything he needs to say is in this DVD. And probably the only next time we're going to see him in a wrestling ring will be in for the Hall of Fame of the WWE, if he can ever come to terms with Vince McMahon. And he even says in the video that, I mean, in the shoot interview, that he has no hard feelings generated towards the WWE business-wise, simply because if they made a really good overture toward him, and it has to be a really good overture, he would do it. He also mentioned this in terms of wrestling again, and this was before he actually did wrestle in that house show, which I believe it was against Orlando Jordan. I'm not sure, but I gotta look that up. But that was really the last time he wrestled. And, you know, Ringside Collectibles interview with the Ultimate Warrior, first ever, probably the only ever. Go ahead and try to download this and see it if you haven't already. to get a little different perspective of Warrior. I think you will get that different perspective. He's definitely not the guy that is the crazy wacko that we see. He actually real civil, spoke very eloquently and fluent, and made a whole hell of a lot of sense in a lot of stuff that he did say. I'm not saying I agree with everything he said, but for the most part, he was really sensible. But those are my 3 DVDs that I wanted to discuss today. There's going to be more in the future. I have tons in my collection. And I hope you enjoyed it. Now, for the meantime, I'm going to sip on my Krispy Kreme French vanilla coffee and see if you guys and gals like the video. Peace out, peeps. Credit roll.